So, how was the first day of school?
It was fine, I guess. I don't know.
Did you guys pick up on that?
Something's wrong.
We're gonna find out what's happening, but we'll need support. Signal the husband.
Growing up is often described as an adventure, but in reality, it is closer to an emotional earthquake, quietly reshaping the landscape of who we are. That truth sits at the heart of Inside Out, a film that takes something invisible and deeply personal, the inner workings of a child's mind, and renders it as an epic, colorful odyssey. At its center is Riley, an 11-year-old girl whose life is upended when her father accepts a new job in San Francisco, pulling her away from her comfortable Midwestern upbringing. What could have been a simple story about moving homes becomes something far more intricate, a sweeping exploration of memory, identity, and the uneasy truce between happiness and sorrow. The genius of the film lies in its decision to personify Riley's emotions. Inside her mind exists headquarters, a luminous command center where 5 core emotions operate a complex control console that determines how Riley reacts to the world. Joy, voiced by Amy Poehler, radiates effervescent optimism. She is the self-appointed leader, the guardian of Riley's happiness, and the architect of her brightest memories. Fear, brought to life by Bill Hader, is wiry and cautious, perpetually scanning for hazards. Anger, voiced by Lewis Black, is a compact furnace of indignation, erupting whenever fairness or comfort is threatened. Disgust, portrayed by Mindy Kaling, serves as Riley's social gatekeeper, shielding her from embarrassment and questionable choices. And sadness, given a tender vulnerability by Phyllis Smith, moves more slowly, often unsure of her purpose, yet quietly essential. Before the move, Riley's emotional ecosystem functions with relative harmony. Joy takes pride of place, guiding Riley through childhood milestones, hockey games, goofy dances with her parents, spontaneous laughter. Each experience forms a glowing memory orb, color-coded to reflect the emotion that shaped it. The most significant of these become core memories, stored reverently and powering the islands of personality that define Riley's identity: her love of family, her devotion to hockey, her playful goofiness, her honesty, her friendships. The film visualizes these abstractions with remarkable clarity, turning psychological constructs into architecture. Personality is not a vague concept here. It is a literal structure sustained by emotional energy. When the family relocates, the stability of this system fractures. The new house is cramped and unfamiliar. The city feels overwhelming. The easy camaraderie of childhood friends is replaced by isolation. Riley's first day at her new school becomes a crucible. Joy works frantically at the console, determined to spin every awkward moment into something positive. But when Riley is asked to introduce herself, a cherished memory of her old home surfaces, and sadness instinctively touches it, turning it blue. As Riley recounts her life back in the Midwest, tears well up unexpectedly. For perhaps the first time, sadness directly shapes Riley's behavior in a public, defining moment. This incident triggers a chain reaction. In the chaos that follows, joy and sadness are accidentally swept out of headquarters, along with the core memories that power Riley's personality islands. They are launched into the vast terrain of Riley's mind, leaving fear, anger, and disgust in charge of the control panel. What had been a carefully balanced system is now operating without its emotional compass. Joy, who has long believed that her primary mission is to keep Riley happy at all costs, suddenly faces the terrifying possibility that happiness alone may not be sufficient. As joy and sadness journey through the labyrinth of long-term memory, the film expands its imaginative scope. Endless shelves of glowing memory spheres stretch into the horizon, each representing a lived moment. We witness how memories are periodically reviewed, faded, or discarded entirely, capturing the poignancy of forgetting. Some memories are replayed repeatedly, others are relegated to obscurity. The concept of memory decay becomes heartbreakingly literal as once vivid orbs dim to gray and crumble into dust. Their odyssey takes them through abstract thought, dream production, and the train of thought, each area a playful metaphor for cognitive processes. In abstract thought, their physical forms fragment into simplified shapes, a witty nod to the way complex ideas are distilled into symbolic representation. In the dream studio, Riley's nightly narratives are assembled like film productions, complete with sets and lighting cues. The train of thought chugs methodically through the mindscape, powered by facts and opinions alike, demonstrating how rationality and subjectivity often share the same track. Meanwhile, back at headquarters, the absence of joy and sadness destabilizes Riley's external behavior. Fear, anger, and disgust attempt to manage situations, but without joy's buoyancy or sadness's depth, their decisions skew extreme. Anger pushes Riley toward defiance. Disgust withdraws her from social vulnerability. Fear amplifies her anxiety. The personality islands begin to collapse one by one as their sustaining core memories are missing. Hockey Island falters when Riley quits the team. Friendship Island crumbles after she lashes out at her best friend. Family Island dims as she argues with her parents. The visual metaphor is devastating. Bridges fall, structures crumble, and what once defined her sense of self disintegrates. At the emotional core of the film lies Joy's evolving understanding of sadness. Initially, Joy views sadness as an impediment, an unnecessary complication in Riley's otherwise bright world. She attempts to keep sadness away from the control console, even drawing a literal circle to contain her. But as their journey unfolds, Joy begins to observe something she had previously dismissed. When they encounter Bing Bong, Riley's forgotten imaginary friend, sadness does something unexpected. Rather than forcing cheerfulness, she listens to his grief. She validates his pain. In doing so, she comforts him in a way Joy cannot. This interaction becomes a pivotal revelation. Joy recognizes that sadness is not merely a malfunction, she is a conduit for connection. The film subtly argues that sorrow invites empathy. When Riley cried in class, her vulnerability prompted compassion from her teacher and classmates. When she feels homesick, that ache signals the depth of her attachments. Sadness is not the opposite of joy, but its complement, giving happiness context and meaning. Bing Bong's eventual sacrifice deepens this thematic thread. In a desperate attempt to propel Joy back to headquarters, he gives up his own existence, fading into forgotten memory. It is a moment of profound melancholy, a meditation on the inevitability of growing up and leaving certain childhood treasures behind. Joy, who once believed that positivity could fix anything, is forced to sit with loss. She experiences genuine grief, and in that space, her perspective shifts. She revisits a core memory once bathed in golden light, a day Riley failed at hockey and felt crushed, only to realize that the subsequent comfort from her parents transformed the memory into one of connection and love. Sadness had been integral all along. The final act converges on Riley's impulsive decision to run away. Overwhelmed by turmoil and guided by anger's desperate logic, she boards a bus back to her old home. Headquarters is in crisis mode. Without joy or sadness, the remaining emotions cannot access the console effectively. Riley feels numb, disconnected. It is a chilling depiction of emotional shutdown. When joy and sadness finally return, Joy makes a radical choice. She steps aside and allows sadness to take control. What follows is the film's emotional crescendo. Riley returns home, collapses into her parents' arms, and admits how much she misses her old life. Her confession is raw and unfiltered. Instead of disappointment, she is met with understanding. Her parents share their own vulnerabilities, acknowledging that they too feel the strain of the move. In that exchange, Riley's new core memory is formed, one that is tinged with multiple colors, blending sadness and joy. The personality islands are rebuilt, not as replicas of their former selves, but as more complex structures, reflecting the layered reality of adolescence. This evolution underscores the film's central thesis. Maturity is not the eradication of negative emotions, but their integration. Riley's emotional console expands, accommodating a richer spectrum. Memories are no longer monochromatic. They shimmer with nuance. Happiness becomes more resilient because it is informed by sorrow. Identity becomes sturdier because it acknowledges fragility. What makes the film particularly resonant is its refusal to vilify any emotion. Fear is necessary for survival. Disgust protects self-esteem. Anger defends justice. Sadness fosters empathy. Joy inspires hope. The narrative demonstrates that imbalance, not the presence of any single emotion, is the true source of dysfunction. Psychological health, as depicted here, emerges from collaboration. Visually, the film translates cognitive science into spectacle without sacrificing accessibility. The glowing memory orbs resemble neural impulses, the islands evoke schema theory, and the interplay among emotions mirrors affective neuroscience models, suggesting that behavior results from dynamic systems rather than singular drives. Yet none of this feels clinical. The story remains grounded in the intimate experience of a child navigating change. The relocation to a bustling coastal city is more than a plot device. It symbolizes the broader transition from childhood simplicity to adolescent complexity. In her previous environment, Riley's identity was reinforced by familiarity and routine. In her new surroundings, she must renegotiate who she is without the scaffolding of established relationships. The disintegration of her personality islands reflects the destabilization many children feel when confronted with sudden upheaval. By externalizing this process, the film invites viewers to empathize not only with Riley, but with their own younger selves. Humor threads through the narrative, preventing it from becoming didactic. Anger's explosive tirades, fear's frantic calculations, disgust's sardonic commentary, these moments provide levity while reinforcing character traits. The comedy never undercuts the emotional stakes, rather it accentuates them. Laughter and tears coexist, much like the blended memories at the film's conclusion. The voice performances play a significant role in humanizing abstract concepts. Joy's effusive cadence conveys relentless optimism without tipping into caricature. Sadness's hesitant inflection captures vulnerability with precision. The tonal contrasts among the ensemble create a believable internal dialogue, as though we are eavesdropping on our own thought processes. Each emotion possesses a distinct rhythm and vocabulary, yet together they form a cohesive psychological chorus. In its final moments, the film widens its lens, offering glimpses into the minds of other characters, Riley's parents, a classmate, even a passing stranger. Each mind operates with its own configuration of emotions, suggesting universality within individuality. No two emotional headquarters are identical, yet the fundamental architecture is shared. This brief expansion underscores the film's empathetic reach. Everyone carries an inner ensemble, negotiating reality in real time. Ultimately, the story reframes the turbulence of growing up as both painful and necessary. Riley's breakdown is not a failure, but a developmental milestone. By confronting her sadness, she deepens her relationships and strengthens her sense of self. The film suggests that resilience is not stoicism. It is the capacity to feel fully and still move forward. Inside Out transforms the intangible terrain of the psyche into an unforgettable cinematic journey. Through Riley's relocation and the resulting upheaval within headquarters, it articulates a sophisticated emotional philosophy in a language accessible to audiences of all ages. It affirms that joy is luminous precisely because sadness exists, that anger and fear have protective value, and that disgust can guard authenticity. Most importantly, it reminds us that the path to maturity is rarely smooth. It is, as the film gently insists, a bumpy road, one navigated not by suppressing emotion, but by allowing each voice at the console to be heard.